The readings for Tuesday, April 4th. The first Old Testament reading is from the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verses 6 through 10. Indeed, he says, "It is a great thing for you to be called my servant, to establish the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the dispersion of Israel. Behold, I give you as the covenant of a race, and as the light of the Gentiles, that you should be the salvation to the ends of the earth. Thus says the Lord, who delivers you, the God of Israel. Sanctify him who despises his life, who is abhorred by the nations, and by the servants of rulers. Kings shall see him and rise, and rulers also shall worship him for the Lord's sake. For the Holy One of Israel is faithful, and he chose you. Thus says the Lord, in an acceptable time I heard you, and in the day of salvation I helped you. I give you as a covenant to the Gentiles, to establish the earth, and to inherit the inheritance of the desert. Saying to those in bonds, go forth, and to those in darkness, reveal yourself. They shall feed along all their roads, and their pasture shall be along all the paths. They shall not hunger, neither shall they thirst, nor shall the burning heat of the sun strike them. But he who has mercy on them will comfort them, and he shall lead them by the fountains of waters." All right. Got some footnotes from the Orthodox Study Bible. We don't, actually. Nothing that lines up with... no footnotes. The second Old Testament reading is from the book of Genesis, chapter 31, verses 3 through 16. Then the Lord said to Jacob, "Return to your father's land and to your family, and I will be with you." So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field where the flocks were, and said to them, "I see your father's countenance, that it is not favorable toward me as before, but the God of my father has been with me. Now you know that with all that my might I served your father. Yet your father deceived me and changed my wages 10 times with respect to the male lambs, but God did not allow him to harm me. If he said thus, 'The speckled shall be your wages,' then all the flocks bore speckled. But if he said thus, 'The white shall be your wages,' then all the sheep bore white. So God has taken away all your father's cattle and given them to me. Now it came to pass, when the flocks conceived, I lifted my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the male goats and the rams that were speckled, spotted, and ash-colored speckled were mating with the sheep and the goats. Then the angel of God spoke to me in a dream, saying, 'Jacob.' Thus I said, 'Here I am.' So he said, 'Lift your eyes now and see. All the male goats and the rams mating with the sheep and the goats are speckled, spotted, and ash-colored speckled. For I have seen everything Laban is doing to you. I am the God who appeared to you at Bethel, where you anointed the pillar and made a vow to me. Now then, arise, get out of this land, and return to the land of your nativity, and I will be with you.' Then Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, 'Is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not considered strangers by him? For he sold us and also completely consumed our money. For all the riches and glory God has taken from our father are really ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do it.'" All right. Some footnotes from the Orthodox Study Bible. So for this exact passage, verses 3 through 16, it mentions that this passage is read during Tuesday Vespers in the 6th week of Great Lent. That, of course, is today, everybody. For verse 3, the Lord is the Word and Son of God. He told Jacob to return to the land of his father, for this land was a type of the world to come. Laban's country was not Jacob's permanent residence, as noted in Hebrews chapter 11, verses 14 through 16 and 21. For verse 11, the Word is also called the angel of God, because it is He alone who reveals the Father, and also because when the Son is beheld, so is the Father, for He is the Father's radiance. Therefore, the Father and the Son are one, says Athanasius the Great. And for verse 13, in verse 11, the name God refers to the Father, but in this verse, the angel is called the God who appeared. Thus, the Son is, quote, true God of true God, as noted by the Creed. The third Old Testament reading is from Proverbs, chapter 21, verses 3 through 21. To do righteous things and to speak the truth are more pleasing before God than the blood of sacrifices. A high-minded man is bold-hearted in his arrogance, and the lamp of the ungodly is sin. He who produces treasures with a lying tongue pursues worthless things upon the snares of death. Destruction shall entertain the ungodly, for they are not willing to do righteous things. To the crooked God sends crooked ways, for his works are pure and upright. It is better to dwell in a corner in the open air than with wrongdoing in plastered rooms and in a shared house. The soul of the ungodly will not be shown mercy by anyone among men. When the intemperate man is punished, the simple man becomes more astute. And a wise man of understanding shall receive knowledge. A righteous man understands the hearts of the ungodly, and he despises the ungodly in their evils. He who closes his ears that he might not listen to the weak, he will also call upon someone, and there will be no one listening. A secret gift calms anger, but he who refrains from giving gifts stirs up strong anger. It is the joy of the righteous to do judgment, but a holy man is unclean before evildoers. A man who wanders from the way of righteousness shall rest in an assembly of giants. A man in need loves merriment, loving wine and oil as wealth. A lawless man is the outcast of a righteous man. It is better to live in a desert than with a contentious, talkative, and quick-tempered woman. A treasury of desire will rest upon the mouth of a wise man, but men without discernment shall swallow it. The way of righteousness and mercy shall find life and glory. A wise man assaults fortified cities and pulls down the stronghold, the ungodly trust. All right. Some footnotes from the Orthodox Study Bible. For pretty much this exact passage, verses 3 through 20, it says that this passage is read during Tuesday Vespers in the 6th week of Great Lent. That is today. We just read one more verse past that, though. But, close enough. For verse 3, righteousness is one of the general virtues of wisdom implanted in those who know and love him. To do righteous things shows the free movement of the will in one who lives according to wisdom and his virtues. To speak the truth also shows the free movement of the will in one who declares the knowledge wisdom imparts to him. For verse 6, the ungodly are those who move their free will in the wrong direction. This movement is away from wisdom and his virtues. Therefore, they are not willing to do righteous things. For verse 10, the intemperate man is one example of a man who moves his free will in the wrong direction, the lack of self-control. The punishment he receives is his own fault. The simple man is one who is beginning to move his will toward wisdom and his virtues. Astuteness is the crown of the wise. See also chapter 14, verse 25, one of the general virtues. Understanding is another aspect of this crown. Therefore, when the simple man truly observes the punishment the intemperate brings on himself, he becomes wiser. For verse 14, upright judgment is one aspect of the crown of wisdom's virtues. This judgment, coupled with righteousness, produces joy. Such people are holy. Evildoers are those who willfully pursue vice or sinful passions. Since they rationalize righteousness to be unrighteousness, they see a holy man as unclean. And for verse 21, a wise man is one who knows and loves wisdom and his virtues. He assaults the fortified cities of his own sinful passions and pulls down the stronghold, likely the opinions of the ungodly. Well, that is it, everybody. Hope you have a pious and blessed Tuesday. And as always, I would just once again ask that you please keep me, a sinner, in your prayers. Thank you, and take care, everybody.